Howdy, everybody. Welcome to a new edition of the Rook and the Kid podcast. I'm the Rook, Jared May, and I'm joined by
Hunter Poole, the kid.
Yes, sir. We are back at it. We're a lot more energetic than we were the last time. The last time we were pretty down bad. We were under the weather, sore throat, pause, lots of shit happening. Hunter's feeling better now, right, buddy? Ain't feeling better, right?
Yeah, I went to the gym, did about 500 push-ups, Navy SEALs. I feel a lot better, and I'm ready to rock and roll now.
Did you do it in your white beater?
No, I did not. I actually did it shirtless. Middle of the gym, no fucks given.
I love it. Well, we're ready to start this episode out hot. Thanks for you guys joining in. Whoever tunes in and comments, we'll really appreciate it. This will be on YouTube. The links to follow will be up throughout the podcast. We got a bunch of new stuff for you guys, as well as a new Trak news segment, which will cover a lot of craziness that's going on right now, which I'm sure a lot of people are wondering what's going on. We can't really tell you, but we can go through it and possibly educate you guys. Plus, it'll be fun. We got some wild takes for you guys while we're talking about it. So we're going to cover some NFL rumors, some coaching changes and contracts. We're going to talk about Cowboys news and draft talks, a couple players that might need restructuring deals. We've got some upcoming movies coming out, like Creed 3, which we're both huge fans of Rocky and Creed. So that'll be fun to talk about. And, of course, our new Trak news segment. But first, we wanted to show you guys a pretty crazy video that just came out with DK Metcalf. And this one is just nuts. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but this is just out of this world. I mean, it's a human glitch.
Good God.
The dude jumps over the H on the Twitch sign.
Hey, DK, next time you jump, can you ask God what the fuck's in the air right now? Okay.
Hey, next time you jump the I, can you ask God, like, you know, is the world ending right now? Because, like, ask him everything you want. He was up there long enough. Oh my God. Looks like he's on a trampoline.
Good God. What a freak.
Looks like me dunking on a 6-foot goal when I was like 15.
Yeah. Taking 500 on shit that did not happen.
Hey, don't hate, bro. Don't hate on the Rook. Gosh.
You want to kiss?
Hating.
Anyway.
A man and a man kissing, brought to you by Coors.
Brought to you by Coors Light.
The banquet beer.
Ugh. We're not really sponsored by Coors Light. Just kidding.
Well, this is Track 7. We have had a ton of fun making episodes. We can't wait to get to our 10th episode. Can't wait to have new guests. We're going to have a lot more for you guys coming up. We're only getting better. We're only growing every time we do these podcasts. And today is going to be a really fun one. So we got to start off, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl beef between A.J. Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. And Patrick Mahomes got involved a little bit with it too, which was – it was just wild. It was like sore loser central. It's just nuts. Let's see if I can find it in here.
Yeah, AJ Brown's being kind of a baby about everything. They lost the game, and like we talked about last podcast, a penalty is a penalty. I know Juju is peacocking right now, and
here it is. Yeah, he was definitely peacocking, and he definitely started it too. He said, Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And if you're unaware, Juju Smith-Schuster is the wide receiver 1/2 for the Kansas City Chiefs, who had just won the Super Bowl, if you're unaware. And he's the penalty that we discussed in the previous podcast with James Bradbury. That's the guy on the screen right here that he's trolling. He said, I'll hold you when it matters, which is around Valentine's Day. He said, Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Trolling the crap out of James Bradbury. And then you got A.J. Brown coming in to rescue, like a rescue hero from your childhood. If you ever played with Rescue Heroes, shout out to them. First off, congratulations. Y'all deserve it. This is lame. You was on the way out the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on your 1-year deal. TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you, but act like you like that or ever was. But don't act like you like that or ever was. But congratulations again with confetti. And this sparked a whole deal. Patrick Mahomes got involved and was like, sounds like somebody's bored. And then AJ Brown replied back to Mahomes with another aggravated remark, and it was just nuts. Who's to blame? I mean, like, I'm not on Juju's side.
There's no one to blame.
Yeah.
It's just, but of course the Eagles players, and I guess especially AJ Brown, are very upset about the Super Bowl loss. They didn't think it went their way. Also, like I said in the last podcast, no one's going to be more hurt than Eagles fans about the penalty. But like I said, the penalty is a penalty, and Juju is, he's always been kind of like a
clout god.
Yeah, like I don't like the thing I agree about. Only thing I agree about the whole thing was a TikTok boy, because we call him TikTok boy.
Yeah.
But AJ Brown being a sore loser, he was probably crying when he was typing this all up. Maybe like sucking on his thumb a little bit, and
thank God he said thumb.
Yeah, and he's just being a little kind of like a little baby, and kind of just you don't want to feel, and obviously Juju was looking for a reaction, and he got the reaction. And really the only people who agreed with AJ Brown were people who were going for the Eagles.
Yeah.
But you're taking personal shots at him, saying like he was going to be out the league, which is not true. He wasn't going to get paid like a lot of amount, but he wasn't just at 24 years old just drop out of the league. There's just no way.
Yeah, people act like Juju Smith-Schuster isn't a good receiver. Now he might not be a true wide receiver 1, but he's definitely a wide receiver 2. He can produce. He's
serviceable. Guy. He's not one of those players. He's just going to be out the league. Like
doesn't service his team right here is this remark. Like I just think saying something like this after you've won a great game at a Super Bowl, and I get it, there was a holding penalty, which we discussed in the previous podcast, did not. At any point in time in the game, you need to call what a penalty is. And there was a penalty there. To troll on it after you've won, after the fact that the Eagles players, as much as I am a rival to the Eagles, they don't deserve that bull crap. That's just nonsense. And then it starts this whole high school Twitter beef between the two. And AJ Brown might look like the bad guy here because he could have taken the high road, but he didn't. I chose Twitter violence. So
nobody's right here.
Nobody's right. I mean, I would have left it alone, but then at the same time, this is going to get somebody's emotions riled up, and somebody's going to say something.
Hey, but I will say though, that is a pretty damn clever Valentine's Day card. That is very clever. I don't know if Juju made that or like a fan, but you know what?
Probably Jackson Mahomes. He's probably pretty good at making that sort of stuff.
That was that. I'll hold you when it matters most. Like, come on, that's pretty clever.
Right there, he's the full thing. I hold you.
Like, that's clever.
And here's Mahomes. This was the clapback with Mahomes. So yeah, Mahomes said that man just be bored, and he said he called you and told on me. Sounds about right. Yeah, y'all got it. So it's like, oh yeah, you call your daddy, and
you don't think Mahomes has a Twitter or a phone that works? You don't think he can just pop on his phone and ESPN?
If I'm seeing it, he's seeing it for sure.
Yeah, it's like, oh, go tell your daddy. Like,
right.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was craziness. I was kind of annoyed seeing all of that. It just was a little bit. It was so out of pocket, which is what we thrive on this podcast. But they're not a podcast; they're NFL players. Like, we're not trying to be out of pocket after you've won a Super Bowl. Just go drink the beer at the parade and be like, "Woohoo! We won another Super Bowl. My career's good. I've gotten paid. I might get paid again." And AJ Brown's doing his thing. All just go along their ways. It has nothing to do with trolling anybody. No, you're professionals. I mean, you think anybody in the corporate world's trolling people that are on the streets? Like, just doesn't make any sense.
Trolling women.
Next up was Aaron Jones. He just got paid, which is serviceable. Yeah, essentially, which is serviceable to their future contract, because I think it saved him cap space. He got I believe you phrased it a certain way, that he got an extension that he got
more guaranteed money, and the cap hit is lower now. So They saved $11.8 million for this year. So, he saved $5 million for 2023. Like, he got the guarantee, and it makes it unvoidable after 2024, which means that they can keep him, and they're gonna have to pay him more guaranteed money, but it's gonna be a bigger cap hit or dead money cap. So if they're like, oh, we want to release you, it makes it more harder to release. And if by that time, running backs, people aren't just trading for running backs nowadays. And, they're going to probably keep him for about they'll probably keep him this year and in 2024. Maybe actually, they always say trade someone a year before you need to.
Yeah.
Get ahead of stuff. It's like chess, not checkers, So after seeing this and the contract, and he's under contract until 2027, even though he's a top 10 running back, I think this will probably be his last year in Green Bay. And after that, they're going to trade him.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move because it kind of tells you where they want to go with the franchise. We're about to conclude with Aaron Rodgers' dark weekend or whatever. I don't remember when it starts, but I think the Green Bay Packers are all but done with Aaron Rodgers. However, we'll get more in depth with that later. But I think Jordan Love is their guy, and for that, in order for that to happen, you've got weapons there currently already. You've got a young running back in A.J. Dillon. You've got Aaron Jones back now. Bakhtiari, sorry, is going to be healthy this year. They've got maybe patched it up in the draft. And they're confident in what Jordan Love's abilities can do. And to keep those weapons around is going to be fortunate. And they're saving cap space. So
they're definitely not trading. They're definitely drafting a wide receiver round 1.
Oh, you would think. But who knows?
Like the argument with Aaron Rodgers, there's always two sides of the argument to defend Aaron Rodgers. One is that he didn't have a good enough defense, and he needs to get defensive players to be like, he can't win with this defense because it's not good enough. Then they don't draft him weapons because they draft defensive players because they need a defense, and then they say, oh, well, they haven't drafted a first-round wide receiver since Aaron Rodgers has been there. But Aaron Rodgers has been known to be able to get guys like Devontae Adams and like
Lazard,
the Lazards, the Christian Watsons. Like, they don't need to spend a first-round pick on a wide receiver for Aaron Rodgers because obviously them scoring points is not the problem. It's their defense. They're trying to help him by giving defensive guys. And it's like, well, who would want to obviously go in free agency? You get to pick where you go. Why would most people want to go play in Lambeau? Green Bay is a small market. It's a small town. It's cold as hell. It's not a very, like a franchise someone wants to play for if they don't have to because it's like.
It's a different arena. That's the most. I mean, like you go to Vegas, I'm sure they have the best equipment rooms and locker rooms and amenities outside. You go to SoFi Stadium, and that place looks like Disneyland on steroids. You go to AT&T Stadium, their locker room has carpet and leather, and you look at the Eagles, and they just have regular lockers. It's different. It's a completely different environment, and it's tough. The same thing in Chicago. Justin Fields complained about it on the podcast as part of my take, and was just like, I don't want to throw. I hate throwing the football in this cold weather because the wind is hard to adjust to, and I think we should get a dome. It's you saying that is basically saying you don't have the capabilities to play in Chicago. So I mean,
it's very cryptic what he's saying. There's a message behind it. He definitely wants out of there, and he happened to say on a podcast on part of my take, a couple months before the draft, there's already rumors about the Bears trading back, and and then Fields going to be included with it. And they might have to pull a trick. There'll be some teams who want Justin Fields, believe me.
Yeah.
But just kind of like that. He's always been very good about talking with media and, saying the right things. Seems like a very good guy. And then just kind of going on the podcast for Part of My Take, who are big Chicago Bears fans. And
Big Cat is.
Yeah, and then he just goes there, kind of says that like cryptic thing. And maybe it all has to boil down to the rumors about them willing to trade Justin Fields after spending a first-round pick on him.
There's a lot of rumors as well that Justin Fields and the Falcons are heating up. I've also seen Lamar Jackson and the Falcons are heating up. You mentioned earlier that they were going to probably draft a wide receiver in the first round for the Packers, and
I believe so.
I could also see them drafting Michael Myers out of
Tight end.
Yeah, the tight end out of Notre Dame. Shout out to Brock Wright for Notre Dame tight ends.
Well,
it would fit. The only person they don't really have, they can get a wide receiver in the second or third. They could go get Tank Dell in the second round, or Keyshawn Boutte out of LSU in the second. There's possible, but to get an elite weapon at tight end, you can also get Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. But that tight end room is not good in Green Bay, and I think the only current weapon they're missing on offense that just clearly doesn't have a piece to it is the tight end spot. However, go ahead.
Well, I was to say the Lazard's most likely leaving. Most likely going to be gone.
He basically confirmed it too.
Yeah, he knows they're not going to pay him, and they got Dubes, they got Watson. I think honestly with if Jordan Love plays quarterback, I think Dubes will be better than Christian Watson production-wise. Not saying he's a better player, but production. Christian Watson's not your typical.
Ryan commented earlier. Sorry to interrupt you, brother. He was like, "Get A-Rod out of there." Probably the smart move. He's a big diva. We talked about it just a second ago. I mean, where did you see him? Where would you see? Yeah, Ryan, he is guy. Remember that? You might have missed it when he was on the podcast, but he was talking about how he was blocking for my idiot ass all throughout high school. That's
he's sassy as hell.
Sassy as hell.
He gets it from Ryan.
I gave him love. Hey, I proposed to him. No homo again, Lord.
Get it out.
Pause. Proposed to him. Pause. That he gets to run the ball. Pause. So I was like, "Hey, put us in a Mayday package." My last name's May. Put me, my oldest brother, and my older brother in the package. I vouched for him to run the football. So
run the damn ball.
He also commented, Mahomes made MVS good.
He didn't show up in the Super Bowl, which I also said in other podcasts. I said MVS will not have a game in the Super Bowl, and what do you know? He had 0 yards.
Yeah. So the analyst with some great comments there. We appreciate your comments, brother.
He already left. He was our guest, and he just dipped on us.
Yeah, I know. He's a busy man. He just got a down payment on a house, so congratulations.
Hey, congrats, man.
Down there in the Spring, Texas area.
Hey, don't give up his location. What the fuck's wrong with you?
It's not actually in Spring.
Say you're sorry.
I ain't apologizing for nothing. What do you think I am? You think I'm a sellout? What are you, the ops? You trying to come up in the Spring hood, bro? Come on.
If I am, can I touch you?
Anyway, we got some Cowboys news for you guys as well. That was Aaron Jones and the Packers news. We got some Cowboys news for you guys. Ezekiel Elliott, reportedly he's going to wait till the draft to basically determine his value, which is in the draft's in May, so that's 3 months.
No, it's in April. So is it the draft or the combine?
The combine. Sorry, the combine. Yeah. It's in the April.
Yeah, so the combine's end of March, it's like end of March going into April. And I guess they'll know what the Cowboys are looking for. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to.
No, you're good. You corrected me. I misread it. It was the combine, not the draft. Man, with Zeke doing this, bro, it just kind of screams to me selfish. I'm gonna wait till the combine to basically determine my value. And then if me and my agent agree that we're more valuable than a restructured contract for me to have a team-friendly deal to stay with the team, then we'll do so. But if not, we're not going to restructure. You can cut me and just be left with the dead money. It drives me insane because I have to watch you every year play 6 good games, and then your last final games, you're in a knee brace, which breaks my heart because you are a good running back. Like Zeke's a good running back. He's an NFL running back without a doubt. He can pass block, he can pass catch, although he didn't do a lot of it this year. Not his fault. He's good in the trenches. He used to be good outside, but maybe those burners aren't, there anymore because he's been beat to the ground by Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan's offensive scheme in his rookie years, his early years. I feel bad for the guy, but at a certain point, you got to look at it with a realistic point.
Well, also when I look at a situation like this, I think about it when you're like arguing with your girlfriend, and
Sure.
you want to be reasonable when if she gets mad at you for something or anything like that. You want to be reasonable. You want to look at her side, and then you also want to have your side, and then you compromise. Try to get through the fight, and that's how I kind of look at this situation. So you got Zeke, who is paid, and he's done. He's always given. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. He's always given his all with the team, and like you said, they beat him to shit for years now. Beat him to shit, and then next thing you know, they like want him to do a complete huge pay cut, and it's not like the injuries are like his injuries aren't non-contact. They're like going into someone like, hey, we need you to be the ground and pound guy on the team, wear out the defense, do this. And so he does it. And then, that's where like the knee injuries come in, the knick-knack injuries. And he's looking at it like, well, so yes, you did pay me, but now you want me to restructure because you wanted me to do this, beat up on other teams, beat up myself. And now you're saying I need to take a big pay cut. And I can see where Zeke is coming from. I can see why he's like, I wouldn't say it's selfish. It's more of like, at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. But from a business point, I'm with the Cowboys. The business point is you're not worth this. You're not really worth this money anymore. And it goes down. It's like a loyalty thing.
But it's also, you can kind of metaphorically compare it to like when veterans return home. A lot of stories you hear that they're treating like crap. The system is broken. They don't get a lot of help, but they put their lives on the line for this country across seas, and they come back and it's just like it's awful. Their treatment, government agencies are bad with PTSD and stuff like that. Like it's just not good. And so you're thinking, I went through all that crap just to come back and be not treated well. Like I did everything for you guys. And I think that metaphorically translates with Zeke. I did all these things for you guys. I ran over 300 times a year.
That's not including the catches or plays that like got called back. Because they always Cowboys, especially early before like the 2021 season and even the 21 season, they run the ball a lot. They're running about 45 to like 55% of the time. Holding calls, and then, you have about 2 or 3 holding calls on runs. That's not including that. So, like I can see where both sides are coming from.
Yeah. And I think I should have done a better job at clarifying because I totally agree with you. Like the business side of it, I'm on the Cowboys side, but taking care of yourself and make sure you get what you're worth, I'm on Zeke's side.
And, that's why contracts, it's such a uneven game with these players and contracts because, once you get your money, the owners, like the team, like the GM can decide of what money you're going to get. They can trade you away. They could, luckily he got his money because some people, they see a rookie running back and he's getting over 350 touches a year, getting beat to shit. And the next thing you know, he doesn't get another deal. So he took this deal because he figured, well, Cowboys are probably going to keep doing what they do, which is they want me to ground and pound, keep doing it, which they obviously you see the way they set up for Zeke and Pollard. It's not too much different. But
Zeke up the A and B gaps, then
Pollard, Pollard will occasionally, go up the A and B gap, and he'll get the yards because he's a good running back, very explosive. And you got Zeke, who's all the time, they'll run like one outside play to him a game. And so they're,
And
like
if
I
you
said,
remember early in the season when they played the Giants on the Sunday Night Football, Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback, and they ran that pitch play on like 3rd and 18 or something like that. Exploded it for like 35 yards. I mean, that's fresher and earlier in the season, but pre-injury, he's still like he probably nags that PCL every now and then. Hopefully it gets better, but pre-injury, he usually starts out the season hot. He can be serviceable, and when you see that, you're like, that's vintage Zeke. Like that's somebody that nobody wants to tackle in the second level. He's still that guy, although if whoever gets him, if it's not the Cowboys, and if it is the Cowboys, they need to find a way to scheme him in ways that he can actually be effective rather than just beating him to crap and making him have Earl Campbell knees when he gets out of the league.
and I've always been like I understand that, like taking a pay cut will help a team, and it makes sense. Like I said, from the business side, but I'm one of those people who won't advocate for someone like they need to do it. Like do it or like go F yourself. It's just you got to take care of yourself because you got to look at it. If you were in a company and you've been putting in all this work and and they're like, okay, well I need you to still keep doing what you're doing. However, we're gonna pay you less now. And you look at it like that, you don't like people playing with your money.
Right. Which is like you're like, screw that.
But the only way you're willing to do that is if you want to. And if Zeke doesn't want to, then they release him, but he still gets that money. So it's like the leverage is very it's almost down the middle. And no matter what, Zeke's gonna get paid. It's just, does he want to get paid with playing on the Cowboys or not?
Yeah, I think he wants it to be with the Cowboys. We'll see.
Business side, though, I want him to take a pay cut. Business side.
Yes, on the business side, we both agree on that. I think he should take a pay cut.
But at the end of the day, take care of yourself. He's a grown man. If he doesn't want to, I would just, it's just always want seeing someone like that, someone you love watching, especially when he was in his prime. But, business is a business, and you see that every day with the NFL and trades and contracts not being this and that. So,
yeah. Did you see the Jackson Smith Ninjibba, what he said about the Cowboys? Obviously, he's a high prospect in the draft this year. He's one of those guys that a lot of people that need weapons, he's going to be their first priority in getting. He's at Ohio State. This is the tweet. It's from NFL Rookie Raw. She said, recently it would be definitely special if he was drafted by the Cowboys. Ninjibba grew up just 20 miles from Dallas. The Cowboys were his hometown team. He said he loved watching them play as a kid. The Cowboys currently hold the 27th overall pick in the NFL draft.
Don't forget the eyes.
I always love that. I try my hardest. I try my freaking ass off not to use eye emojis on our account. When we're posting on Instagram or TikTok, never. I hate it.
Is he the next? Is he the next big thing?
Is he the next big? Yeah, no, literally, it's like, Will.
We get it. We get it. The eyes. It's like we get it. From reading the tweet, we understand that the eyes emojis. You're peeking it.
Right.
The eyes. Add a little suspense. Little eye emojis. Like, oh, let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, no kidding. And what's crazy about this is this tweet doesn't really mean anything realistically. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jibba is going to be picked probably within the top 22 picks of the draft, most likely. He's not going that far back. And as much as I would like for him to be that far back, I would draft him if he was there, but he's not making it to 26.
But you say you would draft him if he was there. If Jordan Addison and him are both at 27, which one would you take?
Jackson Smith and Jibba.
You take him?
Yeah, I read the prototype on Jordan Addison, and
he's a small guy.
He is, and
small guy.
He kind of struggled with. I don't want to quote too much on it because I can't quote exactly from what I read. But basically, the overall thing said he had his high end was a wide receiver 2 in the NFL, which is what we're looking for. But at the same time, if you can get a guy that's more proven, I guess you could say it, like Jackson Smith, I think go with him. And I think he fits our offense a lot better than a Jordan.
It's like with wide receivers, it's like the NBA. They're always gonna, the bigger guy definitely has some more, upside to him. Because if you're a wide receiver with you're a big wide receiver, you can get away with a lot of things. You don't have to be the best route runner. You don't have to be too shifty. And then you got guys who are, big and can run routes. Like those are the guys you want to watch out for. And like Addison, he's kind of like Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Smith, and, taking Jackson Smith, he might fall because he held out a little bit, didn't play that much this year. But I mean, you saw in the Rose Bowl, he put up 315 yards.
Yeah, and anything can happen in the NFL draft. A lot of people think they need one thing when they could totally draft another thing. It all depends on draft boards. They could value Jordan Addison more than this guy, and this guy can fall to 26. Jordan Addison can be highly valued, and he can be drafted early. Zay Flowers could the same thing, vice versa. Either way. And Zay Flowers has an Antonio Brown comp comparison. So, him out of those three receivers, I kind of want Zay Flowers. I want a guy that can be in and out of the slot and on the outside. Somebody that has speed. Speed is the most important thing I want for the Cowboys to add.
So by year 7, he's just gonna go insane, and
yeah, like a Simi Fehoko project. He's solid in training camp all 5 years that he's been here, but wait till year 7 when he pops off.
Yeah, as long as the Cowboys don't trade up for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. Yeah,
I'm already a little skeptical about the getting a wide receiver in the first round.
I think you can get better ones in the second. I think you can also trade back and get a better guy in the second as well.
It's like just taking a wide receiver in the first, you're almost like, because the reasoning for the Cowboys taking a wide receiver in the first would be he would eventually take over. That's why they drafted CeeDee Lamb, Des Bryant. They're not going to draft a guy who's just going to be a number 2 long run.
Yeah.
And
they got their 88.
Yeah, it's just unless they hit on it, it'd be nice to have basically 2 number 1s. I mean, we've already seen what happened to the Cowboys. They had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb didn't thrive. He didn't get into that spot until this year, which helped him develop. So taking a guy as wide receiver, be a wide receiver 2 for CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb has the potential to be for the Cowboys for quite a bit. He seems pretty durable, knock on wood. And just taking a guy to be a number 2 in the first round, you can get that in the second or third round. You can get we have other needs we can fill.
Yeah, I'd rather them go cornerback in the first round. If there's somebody a good edge or a defensive interior guy, I wouldn't necessarily mind that either.
Yeah, just drafting a guy first round to be a number 2 that just
keep an eye on this guy because I don't think we're going to be playing. I don't know if we're going to be paying McGovern, but I would keep an eye on. He's out of Florida. His name is Osiris, I believe. I don't remember his full name, but he's projected in that 25 to 32 range of picks. And if we need to fill a gap on our interior line, I could definitely see them going with the guy out of Florida.
I know we talk a lot of shit about the Jones brothers and how they run things. There's one thing I will not ever question with them is who they draft in the first round.
Yeah, other than Tank Charlton.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, but when you're drafting a guy named Taco.
Yeah, they could have also drafted a guy like TJ Watt. Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight, it was because we had Rob Molinari as the coordinator. Taco fit the system, and but besides that pick, every time they usually draft in the first round, they're pretty spot on. I don't like when some people mention that Zeke at number 4 is such a bad pick because it was he's not a bad player. Taco Charlton was not a good player on the Cowboys, and he's already out of the league. He was running around teams. He was on the Dolphins, and it was that's not a good first round pick. If we hindsight's 2020, and this is a bunch of ifs, but if the Cowboys win a Super Bowl when Zeke was there, what are you gonna say? That was a great first round pick, number 4, but they didn't. That's what they're saying. Oh well. But Zeke was never, people started saying he was bad when he was getting paid a lot, and then, I can go all day about Zeke.
Yeah, same as me. I was gonna say I digress. I thought you were gonna go in a certain direction with that. I was like, I digress. This is probably going to be one of our favorite segments of the podcast. Creed 3 is coming out March 3rd, starring Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is in like a crap ton of movies, bro. He's in like
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. He's in, I think it's called Devotion. It's a World War II story, I believe. He's in that one. I believe Hangman from Top Gun is in it. But I wanted to check that out. But Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors are starring in Creed 3. I believe Jonathan Majors is his cousin. If we want, we can watch the trailer. I've got it hooked up.
Let's get it on, baby.
Let's get it on, Wood. Yeah, I'm super excited for this movie. Stand by. All right, we might get an ad. Who knows?
I spent the last 7 years of my life.
Yes, sir.
My wildest dreams. Bianca.
There she is.
Yeah.
Hey, he looks just like Apollo now.
It's built on their shoulders.
The ring, bro. Get ready for it.
Hey, my man, can I help you? Let me get the autograph.
You get off my car.
Autographs, but you get off my car.
Bro, you look like you've been training in this gym.
I look like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, you look like Michael, but not Michael B. Jordan.
How long were you locked up?
18 years.
18 years, bro.
Yeah, Michael, bro, you
Just
get
got out last week.
That's good, man.
Glad to have you back out, huh?
I know I've been away a long time, but
you
got
think
myself in shape. I still got
you
gas.
think Damien knew
Come by the gym.
Money from Shot Caller?
Thank you.
Nah, they didn't. They, you know,
Cares what
money
happened
fucked with
with
the
you
white people. They
Oh,
didn't.
yeah,
They
the
wouldn't
same
fuck
universe.
with each other.
We was like brothers. I was the best though,
He's fucking
but I never got a
shredded.
chance to prove that.
That's cute.
Fucking rocked his ass. Oh!
Hey.
I know what you're doing, Donnie. You don't owe this dude nothing.
Wood Harris is a good actor.
Damien's fighting the world, and he's trying to hurt people. I vouch for you. You think you
I feel like I'm in
mad?
the movie theater
Spend
right
half
now.
your
The
life in a
E-box
cell.
seats shaking my ass.
Watching somebody else live your life. I'm coming
Oh
for
man, I
everything.
cannot
You
wait.
threatening me?
Yes,
Something is
sir.
going on with you.
Damien was like family.
Hey, how many beers would you have to drink to get in a ring with that guy?
Then maybe you just
Damien.
have to find out.
I'm just free. I'm not scared of nobody. I ain't scared of
I got
nobody.
one beer.
They needed me.
Hey, would you rather get punched by Tyson this time or get punched cinematically by Damien? A KO.
You get punched by Mike Tyson.
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever.
Why is
was
Michael B.
and
Jordan
walk
always
into
such
what
a
is.
bad like thug in his movies? Why is he just always like troublemaker?
Yes, sir.
He picks all the parts of being so stubborn, like a stubborn character who has like off-field issues. Like it's all his characters, but he's so good at it. It's
He's
like
very good at it. I mean, it's
like,
a
it's just
lot
like-
like
it's like
Ryan
Brad
Gosling.
Pitt, or it's like Brad Pitt always eating food. Like why is he always eating food?
Yeah, Brad Pitt's always eating food in movies. Ryan Gosling always has this sarcastic humor.
Like damn
We
fat ass.
talked about somebody else that is always in the same role every single movie.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, Jake Gyllenhaal's one, and then Liam Neeson is another. Like
Yeah.
just the same thing every single time. They're great. Taken. All those movies, just like Star Wars.
Once you like dive into a role, you might as well just keep attacking it because I mean Michael B. Jordan, like I promise you about 85% of his movies are literally like the same thing. Like he's always just like a stubborn kind of villain, like yeah. Even like Friday Night Lights when he's like a kid with like issues, like running from cops and shit. He's like,
Yeah,
stubborn, doesn't really want to listen, but then he starts listening. Everything works out, and
starts thriving. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be a badass movie. I know
You
he
want to
lost.
see it in theaters or what?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I know Creed lost in the first one. He won the second. Yeah, he's not losing this one. He has to win this one.
Yeah, I've got him. I got one of Creed's teammates getting knocked out, maybe even dying in the ring, and then Creed having to come back and fight. So I think in this setting he might be retired.
Well, he's in
Like,
jail.
maybe
Well,
gunfight.
Creed's like in jail. What do you think he did? You think he like?
I think he might be visiting Damien, or I think he might have been.
No, because his Bianca was visiting him.
Oh yeah, maybe Damien set him up. Maybe he told him about his past and it's something they didn't know about, and they accused him of stuff.
What do you think he was doing? Like jaywalking?
Yeah, Batman found him and broke both his legs.
Yeah, I don't see Creed losing this fight. It's gonna be a good movie. There's already that trailer is so good. It just like I hope it's not one of those movies where it's like
the trailer is the movie.
Yeah, because I don't know how long the movie is. It better be at least 2 hours and 30 minutes. After watching that trailer, if it's under like 2 hours,
you can get through a lot in 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I always say this about movies. Like a comedy movie should not be longer than like 2 hours. It should be about 145 and under, and then something like that, and then action movies they should be over 2 hours easy. Like if you see a horror movie or like a
hour 30 maybe.
If you see like an action movie like under 2 hours, like I would suggest like don't even go watch it. Like you can't get enough action because it takes too long for the movie to start, and then once then when you got like 25 minutes of action, like
yeah.
But
all right, so if we go see it in theaters, what's the number one snack you're bringing?
Number one snack, Takis.
That's a good one.
Takis.
Smacking in there.
Yeah. Takis, and are you gonna get a slushie or are you gonna get a water because you're about to grind?
Probably a water because I'm about to grind. I was a little under the weather.
Bullshit on that one. You're gonna get a slushie.
Why would I get a slushie? When have you ever seen me get a slushie ever? What do you think I'm gonna go do? Go get the double gulp cup with a fucking Sharpie?
Jump up! I fucking love slushies. I don't get that on there.
So why are you asking me that question? Why don't you just go get a Slurpee? Why you Takis?
I thought we were alike. I thought we kind of do the same things. You ain't feeling my vibe.
Hey, if you could be like, hey, I'm cheating. I'm getting a Slurpee. I'd be like, all right, I'll just use the same straw. Head ass.
you're not smelling the shit I'm stepping in. Like,
I'm stepping important.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And
now the only thing that's saying I want a water is their Slurpee's probably like $13.
Well, that's why we just sneak them in. Here's a real question: are you gonna invite her?
She's never coming back.
Oh man! Shout out to whatever's going on.
Yeah.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. I'll be your date.
Thank you, buddy. We got a lot of NFL rumors for you guys today. Starting with Derek Carr. Dude, what do you think? You think Derek Carr goes to the Jets? The Jets said that they view him as a very, very highly significant upgrade over Zach Wilson. Duh.
Wow, they're so smart. That must take a lot of studying to do to figure that out.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy press conference. Yeah, he's obviously a pretty good upgrade. And then you got Derek Carr, which is kind of savvy. He previously met with the Saints prior to the release.
That would not work.
Yeah, he released prior to his release with the Raiders, and he said, "Screw that. I'm uninterested in giving the Raiders compensation for any of that." So now the Jets are rumoring to acquire Derek Carr. You think this is a good fit? Or you think he might go somewhere else? If so, like where do you think he would go?
Fit wise, I think it'd be a good fit. But considering where he goes, it really all depends where Aaron Rodgers goes. He's the first one on the market. Where he goes, it's like we're talking about the NFL running back situation. We're not gonna know how much running backs are gonna be paid moving forward until Saquon gets paid. And then, the Jets aren't going to go on – they're not going to sign Derek Carr unless they know A-Rod's not going there. It's when A-Rod figures out where he wants to go, that's where Lamar, Derek Carr, people like them, they're gonna get like the scraps. It's like getting over your ex and you can't, so you settle. That's basically what teams are going to do once A-Rod is off the market. And
Yeah, exactly. And I think a possible location for like Aaron Rodgers might be like the Raiders. He just kind of looks good in that black jersey. He's back with Tay. Not only that.
It makes the most sense.
Yeah, and then because Lamar, if he's not staying with the Ravens, I don't see Lamar going like to either of those places, the Jets or the Raiders. I don't see it. I either see him return to the Ravens and they pay him and they figure it out. He's his own agent, so that crap's going to take a while. Or I see him going to a place like the Falcons. It makes a lot of sense.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say, don't sleep on the Falcons, and you just beat me to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Falcons are a great fit. They got young talent around them. They don't have too bad of an offensive line. They've got a rookie running back. I think Algier was a rookie running back. He rushed almost over 1,000 yards.
I think the Jets want A-Rod, but I think they're going to settle on Derek Carr, which is not bad, but he's not A-Rod.
We talked about that on our first or second podcast. We talked about how Nathaniel Hackett, being the offensive coordinator for the Jets,
and then A-Rod.
A-Rod would follow.
But then the Raiders, they started cooking up with the Raiders, and now the Raiders are now. And then even you got players like, which is insane, that people like Josh Jacobs, who can get paid, and he's like, I'll take a pay cut if it means getting A-Rod or someone like that. And it's like, well,
and all
your money where your mouth is.
All this again could just be a smokescreen to just have Aaron Rodgers return back to Green Bay. But then what does it mean for Jordan Love? Also, if you get traded if they trade Aaron Rodgers to a place like Green Bay, the Raiders or the Jets, I mean, that changes the perplexity of the draft as well, because both those teams hold top 15 picks.
A-Rod the villain can just retire and just fuck everybody what they're trying to think, what they're trying to do for the offseason. He can say, yeah, I'm going to retire. And everyone's just like, okay.
Which is why we kind of have to wait until, I guess we're forced to wait until his concluding dark weekend.
Yeah, A-Rod's controlling the whole faith right now. He's like Thanos. He has everything, and until he figures out what he wants to do. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. Yeah, no shit. Don't make fun of me. I was stuttering, bro. It's kind of fucked up. Anyway,
I was quiet. I was like, okay.
Yeah, he's gonna. Once A-Rod figures out, then we'll see where Derek Carr goes. But he's better than Wilson, and he's better than Mike White. He's better than Joe Flacco. He's at the moment better than the quarterbacks in the drafts. Now, if you can get Derek Carr, and maybe you still got Garrett Wilson. We don't know what's going to go on with Elijah Moore. He could be traded. And they got Breece Hall coming back. It could work out, but A-Rod's their number one, and then if not, they'll settle for their new girlfriend, Derek Carr.
Yeah, I think Elijah Moore, it was a weird story. He obviously doesn't have connection with Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers, though, if he went to a place with the Jets, they're probably going to be giving up first round picks either of this year or the next year to Green Bay, which just adds to your point saying go get a wide receiver in the first round. They can get both Michael Mayer and another wide receiver in the first round.
Well, what's good is
they have stuff to play with.
Well, what's good is that the Jets did so well with drafting over the last couple of years that they have a young team, and they will give up future picks. But if A-Rod's there for, let's just say, 2 years, that's a good investment. That could work out very well, because if they're just giving up future picks, and even though they trade the future, but if they maybe win a Super Bowl, a little far fetched, because you don't expect someone like the Jets to. They have they're a very young team, very skilled players all around the offense and defensive side of the ball. And just bring in someone like A-Rod, I would trade the future for him if I know he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Only if I know he's going to play. But if
I have this. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say if I don't know he's going to play, then like Mark Cuban said, I'm out.
Yeah, I just think I have a bad feeling this is just a gigantic circus show just for the media to spin and have something to talk about until Aaron Rodgers just ends right back up in Green Bay. I mean, just retires in general, like you said. If I were Jordan Love, I'd want the hell out of there if Aaron Rodgers returned. Although you never know.
If he retires, my villain list is justified. With Aaron Rodgers retiring, that just justifies everything I said about A-Rod being a villain. It would just that would just be the icing on top of the cake. It would just I'm like, oh yeah, A-Rod
And the
Dude,
quote goes
listening.
so well with it too.
Good God.
Wow, you hear that?
It's like a gunshot.
Don't we hear that like at least once a night?
Gunshots, yeah.
Yeah, we're not in Detroit. God, I lost my train of thought. I was like,
I was like, hey, well said.
yeah, what was? Yeah, good point. I don't even remember what I was going to say, but whatever. Eric Bieniemy also was hired as the Commanders' offensive coordinator. There was a lot of buzz around this story. A lot of it I don't want to dive into because
On record, we are not ESPN. We are not scripted. We say what we want to say on this podcast. So anything we give you, it's insight. It might be honest. It might be this. But
it's straight from the dome. It's
not.
straight from the dome.
We're not scripted. So, ESPN, they won't have much of a story to talk about for a while now. ESPN's always trying to make an issue of something that's not an issue. Try to bring other factors that are not actually factors. It's more of hypotheticals that they're just making up in their head to sell a story. And ESPN has been doing that for quite a bit now. And it's.
I would say it started before even the pandemic.
I just kind of had to.
I did some reading up on Eric Bieniemy, and I learned that I think he was an all-star player at like the University of Colorado. Like, don't quote me on the university, but I know he did some coaching tenures with multiple different NFL teams. He spent time with the Vikings with Adrian Peterson from 2010 to 2014, where Adrian Peterson was a Pro Bowler, I think, all of those years. Then he moved to the Kansas City Chiefs, where he became he stayed a running backs coach with Jamal Charles. Gosh, I can't speak. With Jamal Charles for 4 years, and in 2 of those years, Jamal Charles was a Pro Bowler. So he had a great tenure as a running backs coach. Then they moved him to offensive coordinator. Now, before all of this NFL tenure, he was an offensive coordinator at the University of Colorado, where before they were there, they averaged around 24 points a game. In the 3 years that they had him as the offensive coordinator at Colorado, they averaged 23 a game. They got worse, which that's a long time ago. That's right before 2010, I believe. Now you translate him back to the Chiefs, where for the last 5 seasons, he's had the most productive offense in Kansas City. And, he's had Mahomes. Maybe one of those years was with Alex Smith. Mahomes has been in the league 5 years, right?
6.
So, yes, all years has been with Mahomes. And all 5 years have been the most – that nobody has scored more points the last 5 years than the Kansas City Chiefs. His responsibility as a coach is for scheming and the offensive game plan. He's not the actual play caller. And you hear this argument a lot from everybody. It's like, he's not actually calling the plays, but then they take those factors that the kid was mentioning earlier that they just want clicks on. Now, my argument was for Eric Bieniemy to be in such a prominent position with one of the greatest NFL coaches in history, one of the greatest to be NFL quarterbacks in history in Patrick Mahomes, with one of the greatest rosters, people like Tyreek Hill previously, Travis Kelce, the running backs, offensive line, the defense, Tyrann Mathieu, 3 Super Bowls appearances in 4 years. 2 of them they won. He's got all this great prominent status here, and he's learning from a great offensive-minded coach. Yet everybody wants to push him out the door to go after this either offensive coordinator where he's calling the plays, but most people want him to be a head coach. You're like, you want him to leave this great situation where he's there every single year just to go prove he could be a head coach somewhere else and go like 8-9 with a bunch of 21-year-olds, with a team that needs to rebuild from the ground up. Hence, he goes to a poverty franchise, argue with a wall. The Commanders are a poverty franchise. They haven't been good since Joe Theismann. They haven't been legit since maybe you could argue RG3. This is a long rant. I'm sorry. But you go to this place to start calling plays under a poverty franchise with a rookie quarterback in Sam Howell, which is probably going to go 7-10. So you leave all that behind just to prove you can call plays, which we all know he can call plays. He's a great coordinator, whatever. to go to a poverty franchise. It just nobody seems to want to grasp that. But it just for me, I thought he was in a great situation, and I don't think there was ever a problem with it. But media outlets want to say the latter.
Yeah, and you make very good points about it. And you want to see him succeed. And before the only issues is that he was under Andy Reid, and some people don't realize how it is to be an NFL head coach. And people will say, well, what about Matt Nagy? Well, you saw Matt Nagy; he did get a job, and now you look at him differently when he was a head coach and when he's a coordinator. If that happens to Bieniemy, sorry, always gets me. You don't, of course, you don't want nobody to fail, but if he fails and you're like, what? That's the reason why he never got a head coaching job, because head coaching is different. And then you got people like Dan Quinn, who was a head coach, but obviously he's a way better coordinator than he is head coach. Head coach is a different ball game. And it has nothing to do with that. I don't know if he can be a head coach.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't, because we've never seen it. Should he be given an opportunity? Eventually, yes. But then when you start bringing things about like a racing, like it's not a racing. They're not saying, oh, we don't want you because you're this color or that. And nobody really knows what's going on inside the room when they're talking about, this is going to happen and that, they're not saying, oh, yeah, we don't want you because you're this. They're probably saying, like, look, you've been under Andy Reid. Maybe go to, find, now I'm going to say what I'm thinking. Go get, an OC somewhere like Washington. That's, like we just said. He goes to Washington. He changes that offense and everything, and they're just significantly better. He's not going to get a head coaching job somewhere else. He's going to take over that team.
Yeah. And
then he can see if he could be the head coach. But head coaching is not the easiest job in the world. And people on social or TV outlets just make it seem like it's just like a cakewalk. It's not. It takes a different ballgame. And, Dan Quinn every year, he's always up for being a head coach again. But I think he enjoys what he does as a coordinator because he's such a great coordinator. There's not ever been that many great coaches to ever coach, and it's not like there's not African American head coaches. You got Mike Tomlin, who's a great coach. Brian Flores, he was a good coach. He was, not agreeing with him in the front office were not getting along, and they did him dirty. But they have a rule in place to help out these coaches, and it's just we can go all day about it. It's just when you start bringing the racing to it, it just kind of it's not a racing. It's just go prove yourself. Go prove yourself in a different place. This is a perfect opportunity to prove, because guess what? You are now the man calling plays, and nobody's going to ever question it. Nobody's going to question. And I saw people talking about how Andy Reid is the reason why he's not getting a job, because Andy Reid made it known that he was also calling plays. But Andy Reid is such a great top 5 coach ever. Yeah, you want him calling plays. And it's just, just making a problem out of nothing. He got a new job. He's out of Andy Reid's shadow. He can go prove he's a man. And if he does it, which I just say, if he does a great job in Washington, he's going to take over for coaching. And if he does it, he will get a head coaching job. I can promise you that. He just had to get out of his shadow. Nobody can question it now. And once he does that, I hope he succeeds.
Yeah, me too.
As long as he doesn't beat the Cowboys, besides that, go get what you're worth. And
I mean, what's gonna be very painful is if And I think Eric Bieniemy is a great coordinator. I think he's going to do a great job. Hopefully not too great, but he's going to do great things for the youngster of there, Sam Howell. However, if he does not perform well and they have complaints and they don't progress well, and all of a sudden he's frowned upon as a coordinator, what will you say then? What will the media say then? Will they say they were wrong for the past 4 weeks? Oh, there really was a reason that he interviewed with dozens of NFL teams over the past 3 years and never got a coordinating or head coaching job. It's just you're playing with fire here. You've said these words in the media, and you've twisted this carousel around and got it spinning with a hamster and just started going, okay, yeah, the race thing. And then what if it doesn't pan out?
It's not a race thing because you got D'Amico Ryans. Like, a lot of people who needed a coach wanted him because he's a fantastic coach. You knew he was running the shop in San Francisco.
And he walked the line too. He didn't just get the defensive coordinator job. I did my research on him too. He was a quality control coach. Then he became a linebackers coach. Then he got promoted to DC after Robert Saleh left. Then he spent 2 years where after the first year, he was given interviews by other teams, which he declined. Hence back to your Dan Quinn statement. He said, I want to grow in this spot as a coordinator. The second year after the year they just had, he goes, all right, I'm ready. We're cool. He had like the second best offensive, like rushing defense, like the 5th best passing defense. And now he's in Houston where he played his
and also like
professional ball.
He it's like the grind. You're working to get better at what you do. And probably the best thing that could have happened for Andy Reid, Mahomes, Bieniemy is Tyreek Hill leaving, and they could still do it. Now it's like, okay, because when you go to Washington, you're not going to have a Tyreek Hill. You're not going to have a Mahomes. You're not going to have a Travis Kelce. You got a second-year quarterback this year, and then you have 2 very good wide receivers. You have Scary Terry and Dotson. Those guys, you remember, the quarterback is not. So you're going to have to scheme very well. And, if you would have had a head coaching job a couple years before, maybe even last year, and, maybe not enough experience with being in because people notice when a team is bad, but it's not coaching. Like, it's all about players, doing that. But, like, he couldn't make it work with Kansas City. He would have never been, like, getting a job. So goes back to the point is, you got to grind it out. Good job, Eric, for getting the job.
Yeah.
Go prove everybody wrong. Go prove you should be a head coach.
Exactly.
This is a time to do it. Because if you don't get it done, then they're always going to look at, well, you were a product of Andy Reid, and you don't want that. And let's hope it works out. Just don't beat the Cowboys, and we'll call it a day.
Exactly. Well said on both ends, I think. Next up is our favorite segment of the podcast, our ADP segment. We're going to draft our top 3 survival equipment in the apocalypse. Since everything kind of seems like it's going into apocalypse right now, and with all these spy balloons and intercepting fighter jets off the West Coast and Chinese satellites going over and UFO sightings and train derailments and chemicals blowing up across America. Figured this would be a funny one to do. So we're going to draft them. It's not like our track rankings. We're going to actually draft them. So the one drafted first, you can't pick, and you're picked. So the Kid, I'm going to allow you to go first on this one. You draft your number 1 survival equipment in the apocalypse, or just equipment in general.
All right, my number 1, I'm going to go with my hot-ass breath.
That's a good one.
If I say what's up to a zombie with my hot-ass breath, then ain't no fucking zombie getting near me.
Yeah, they're getting flamed. What if they're immune to flame? Like, what if they're immune to fire?
Nah, you haven't seen how hot this breath is. It's so hot that, I don't even put the heater on in my house. I just breathe when I'm sleeping. I'm hot enough. And, why preheat an oven to 375 when I can just breathe on your food and you'll be done by then? It takes a few seconds. My hot-ass breath is my number 1 weapon. It's going to protect me to keep all the zombies away from me. And if you want to use the weapon, you got to get near me. But I ain't dying today. My hot ass breath, number 1.
I like that one. That's a solid pick because I've experienced how hot your breath is from across the room, and I'm like, good God Almighty, that it heated up my Alfredo today. So
Yeah, that's why I have to work out because I got hot breath, but I got big arms to back it up though. So
yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to bring. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one.
text.
Probably some shoes. Bring some shoes. I think it'd be smart to kind of walk around, in Apocalypse with some shoes on.
What kind of shoes?
Probably some Air Force Ones.
Respect.
Yeah, all white.
Fair enough.
It's obvious. Why wouldn't you need shoes when you're walking around? You might say boring pick, but are you gonna walk without shoes? I don't think so.
Why would you lose your shoes in the zombie apocalypse? Like when it starts,
You can always
you just have shoes. Are you talking about you have a fresh pair every time? Or
Yeah,
just one
like,
pair of shoes.
I would say you have 2 pairs of shoes. You have the pair that when it all went to shit, you have a pair of shoes on. Could be boots, could be flip flops, could be Hey Dudes, could be James Harden's.
I probably have some steel toes.
Yeah.
Kicking them in the nutsack.
Good thing I got 2 pairs of shoes in my trunk bed. Extra 2 pairs of shoes.
Well, I know if I need a pair of shoes in the zombie apocalypse, I'll go to you because I probably need some.
Probably need some shoes.
Number 2 is a tough one. I had to do a lot of thinking about it, and in a day, I got to protect myself, right? At number 2, I'm gonna go with Nancy Pelosi.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I guess Nancy Pelosi is actually a interdimensional space demon. So
She's gonna protect me. She's gonna be like my angel, and she's gonna be next to my side. And if ever I need her to go away, I'll just tell her to start. If I need the zombies to go away, I'll tell her to start talking. And trust me, after hearing her for 5 seconds, it will definitely go away. They will not talk anymore. And I need a sidekick with me. If I need a sidekick, he's a weapon. So I'm gonna go with Nancy Pelosi. And
yeah, she might be old, but she's ready to cook it. I mean, her husband can't say the same, but
I don't need her. I don't need her to do much. I just need her to talk. Talk for like 5 seconds and they'll walk away.
Yeah.
Or draw it off. I don't know what fucking zombies do nowadays,
What zombies would you prefer?
Definitely not Nazi zombies. Probably zombies from damn, that's tough. That's a hard question. I'm gonna go with Zombieland. I'm gonna go with Zombieland.
Zombieland looks like walking and pathetic.
Yeah, kind of just dumb as hell. Yeah, not the Nazi zombies. Fuck.
Yeah, hell no.
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
All right, for my second pick, I'm gonna go with a pit bull named Sunshine. I just think
I look like I have the pit bull named Sunshine.
Yeah, you look like you have the pit bull named Sunshine. I mean, your little 5-year-old son or daughter is, playing across the street, and you let Sunshine off the leash. You got it looks like a fucking hellhound coming at you at supersonic speed, and you're toast. I just think a zombie wouldn't stand a chance to them that lockjaw. I mean, thankfully the dog has to have lockjaw and not me. So I'm going with a pit bull named Sunshine.
Good fucking pick. Pit bulls are very loving dogs, but they're protectors. And what if it turned into like a Nazi zombie dog? It'd be kind of cool, right? But it's like on your
it'd
side.
be kind of cool. But it's like on my yeah.
It's like on your side. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. Like saying, "Fetch me their souls."
Fetch me their souls. Yeah. Number 3, I'm gonna go with a bazooka.
A bazooka.
Because
what
when
about an RPG or
I'm talking like a bazooka on like Black Ops 1. I'm talking just like a big old fucking thing.
M72 Law.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use a bazooka because if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I would just go out with the count and I would just point the bazooka right below me and then blow me up and everything around me. I'm not fighting no fucking zombies. I don't have time for that. I'm trying to do a podcast, shit hits the fan. I'm getting a bazooka, ending it all, call it a fucking day, meet my creator. and watch y'all have fun because I'm out.
Respect, a bazooka. You went with a gun. Almost did it. You went with a gun. I might have to go with a gun too. Shoot, man. I'd probably take my AR-15 with my. It's a fully semi-automatic rifle, as Joe Biden refers to them, a fully semi-automatic rifle.
What the fuck does that even mean?
It's fully semi-automatic, so it's fully automatic, but it's also semi-automatic. So it's both at the same time because that's how it works. And also, for those of y'all that are uneducated out there, or educated out there, AR-15 means assault rifle 15. It does not mean Armalite 15. So, a fully semi-automatic assault rifle 15. That's what I'm taking with me. With some 5.56 NATO, like the same NATO that's like in Europe.
Can't you make like in Black Ops? Can't you make your M16 fully automatic? You can
Yeah,
do that, right?
Yeah.
Like is that what Joe Biden thinks an AR-15 is? He thinks like an M16 with like.
This is terminology. This is nothing like that. This is terminology. There's a semi-automatic and then there's fully semi-automatic.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying though, because the M16 is a 3-round burst, and then you can.
Oh yeah, you can select fire.
Yeah, and then you can just like go fully automatic and say fuck it.
This is real life, son. This is killing zombies in Fallujah.
Get up, Fallujah!
Get up,
Tie them up right now. I'm tying those zombies up to a tree. Unload MP60Es, 40s on their heads.
I'm gonna tie him up to a goddamn tree with some rope like we did back then. And I'm gonna get my M60 E4 and I'm gonna start throwing lead down range on them. You wanna chop my brother's head off and tell man up a log?
Oh god.
Shout out to Logan Mays. All right, so that was our ADP segment. Hunter's top 3 draft picks are his hot ass breath, number 1. Number 2 was Nancy Pelosi, and his last one was a bazooka. So that's pretty interesting. Mine, I wanted to bring shoes, make sure I had shoes on. That was my first pick. A pit bull named Sunshine was my second, and a fully semi-automatic assault rifle 15. ADP segment brought to you by nobody.
Brought to you by nobody. Get fucking talk.
So this is the exciting one I want to get into, and this is where I might do a lot of talking, but you might do a lot of theorizing or conspiracy theorizing. Who knows? There has been a crap ton of crap in the news lately. Starting off with Chinese motherfucking satellites. This is nuts. I'll show you all the video here. This is on newsweek.com. I don't know if it's conservative or liberal or whatever in between, so don't at me on that. Get out of here with your politics. Here we go. There might be an ad. Just watch these satellites.
Oh shit.
They probe the sky miles for miles. This is in Hawaii, as you can see. So we got that going on, in which close this out. It included a copy of the video stated that as if the balloon was not enough, a Chinese environment monitoring satellite beams green lasers from space over Hawaii.
Aliens confirmed?
Right. Yeah, that's just what they want you to believe. Here's another image. I don't know if this is actually the real image, but
what the fuck is that from? E.T.?
Yeah, it looks like fucking World of Worlds. The Hodge twins, who are like celebrities on Twitter, said that apparently their tweet was viewed more than 6 million times. Good Lord. Said China is shining green lasers down to Earth from space from their satellites. This was near Hawaii. Doesn't seem good. Down here, they talked about what kind of satellite it was. And China, let's see. Yeah, here it is. DACI-1, something like that, was China's first satellite dedicated to comprehensive monitoring of the atmospheric environment. So we got that going on with Chinese motherfucking satellites scanning our land in Hawaii. And then at the same time, you've got the Chinese spy balloon, which is documenting our land, which it went from, I believe it was from Montana to Wyoming, down to Kentucky, up through Tennessee. Don't quote me on that.
Sounds like
Then-
flyover. It sounds like Flyover States by Jason Aldean.
Yeah, like fly over Hawaii. Then to the Carolinas, and then was shot off the coast. But the crazy thing is reportedly the spy balloon was they knew about it before it even reached the United States. It was in Canada when they knew about it. So this thing is probing the entire like Midwest from Montana to Wyoming, all the way to Carolinas, and we shoot it off the coast to avoid human casualties. So Tucker Carlson talks about this as well. Let's see, show this tab. Might get an ad, who knows?
Carlson, tonight you often hear people say you can't have a country without borders. You can't have a country if you don't have borders.
He runs down
That's
the spy
also
balloon.
true of airspace, which is itself a kind of border. So maintaining control of the skies over the United States, deciding who comes in and out and on what terms, that's one of the most basic duties of the Pentagon and has been since aviation began. If you were to fly your Cessna into restricted airspace in parts of this country, the U.S. military would scramble jets and they might shoot you down. So it's not a small infraction. Unless, of course, you happen to be the Chinese government and you're operating an enormous white
I'm hearing
dirigible
Chinese way
designed
too
to
much.
spy on American nuclear installations. In that case, you could relax. You've got friends at the White House. Absolutely nothing is going to happen to you. Now, that's not an imaginary scenario.
That's kind of like a nut.
No, it's true because we're seeing it right now. As you've doubtless heard, an enormous spy balloon the size
It
of
looks like
several
that
school
that
buses
shit
has
from
floated over from
Nope.
central China.
Remember that movie with
It's
Jordan
currently, we
Peele?
think, drifting across the continental United States. Yesterday,
Yeah, so here it is.
Air Force Base in Montana.
Montana,
one of the three places in
Wyoming,
this country that houses Minuteman
Kansas,
III
Missouri.
continental ballistic missiles. By this afternoon, the Chinese spy balloon had made
They're
it
the
to
Air
Kansas
Force
City.
bases, bro.
And there, over the skies of that city, a pilot flying a private plane at 47,000 feet came close to hitting the Chinese spy balloon. Derelict balloon adrift, he said, in a notice to other nearby pilots. But it was not a derelict balloon. It was a balloon being controlled by China. In other words, here we have a foreign military aircraft over our country spying on
Take it
critical
down.
defense installation and posing a threat to civilian aviation. That seems like a big deal. If you want to know how big a deal, consider how would we respond if Putin were doing
Just my argument is,
if this
why are
were
we
a
letting it
Russian
float?
spy balloon.
I know we shot it down, but
Well,
why
you'd
we let
have
it
the world's
cross
shortest
the
news
United
story.
States before we did
Russian
it?
spy balloon spotted offshore. Entire U.S. Air Force mobilized. Balloon reduced to vapor in seconds. So no, there would not be a lot of debate about what to do about a Russian spy balloon. We'd kill it instantly, as you would any hostile foreign intrusion. But things turn out to be a little different when it's a Chinese spy balloon. As far as we know, Vladimir Putin has never sent cash to Joe Biden's crackheads. I knew they wanted the questions on that.
Yeah,
Talking about
it's like-
Joe
And it
Biden.
raises a much bigger question, which is why? What's going on here? What else do they know but refuse to tell us? Well, today, Pentagon sources conceded that the Biden administration has actually been tracking this Chinese spy balloon for months since it left China. That means they watched it float over the Pacific, they watched it pass over the Aleutian Islands and into American airspace. And at any time, they could have shot it down over the water,
Lord.
by the way, risking no
Yeah,
loss
so that's
on the
nuts.
ground.
You can watch the rest of it on YouTube. Obviously, it's right there. Like, if you want to go watch the rest of it. I just think it's worth being talked about. I mean, we are a sports, entertainment, and betting podcast. This kind of counts as entertainment. I know it's mainstream news, but this just kind of, it's eerie. You know, you got space satellites probing the environment in Hawaii. I don't want to sound too conspiracy theorist here, but probing the land in Hawaii. We got the spy balloons probing the land over the United States. Who knows what's on that footage of what they're getting? You know, like that also cuts between, because on the left side of the United States, you've got the Rocky Mountains. And then on the right side of the United States, you've got the Appalachian Mountains. And then you got the Mississippi River in between. And then you got the Sierra Nevada in California. Like, it's very tough to attack the United States with those things in mind. But then this thing's going right in between all of it, as if it would come from like Canada. But I just don't get it. I don't know. It's very, very skeptical to me. I think something's going on, and we've also intercepted Russian pilots on the West Coast, 4 of them, like intercepted them in F-35 jets. Then you got Taiwan reportedly getting in striking position and doing striking maneuver training right outside of China's doing it right outside of Taiwan. And of course, you got Russia and Ukraine, which China is a backdoor dealer to Russia for oil and gas. That's how they're paying for it. Telling you, man, we talked about it on the couch. We had the Great Depression and the 30s, and what happened right after?
World War II.
We need a moneymaker. We need something for the economy. Let's go to war.
Pearl Harbor.
Who knows, man? This is crazy. This is crazy news. I feel like it has to be talked about. And on the flip side of things, we had. Let's see.
Yeah, leave comments, and then we can all interact when y'all watch this video. Leave some comments and tell us what you think, and we can all have a discussion.
Yeah, I just really want to read it. It's not really more about like Hunter said, like comment what you think about it. I just want to share it because people may be carrying on about their lives. This might be something you need to know about. Keep a third eye on what's going on around the world. Especially if you're religious. This is in Ohio and East Palestine, which has been biggest on the news lately. But it hasn't been the only train derailment. I believe there was one in Florida, which was like a mile-wide chemical spill, which is releasing toxic gases into the atmosphere. This was the biggest one and the first one. It carried hazardous materials. I'm pretty sure it was the same contagion that was used. Don't quote me on this, but I read it. Not on this page, but on a different page. It was a contagion that they used as a weapon in World War I. This is released into the sky from these trains. I think 50 of 150 train cars were, here it is. 50 of the 150 cars were derailed or damaged. Fearing an explosion, officials ordered nearby residents to evacuate before conducting controlled burn, which released a toxic plume of smoke for several hours that was visible for miles. Well, it was more than several hours. And people were told they could return home. And when they got back, they don't know if the water's been contaminated. I saw a video on, I know that you can't believe everything on the internet, but I saw a video. It was located in Ohio. They threw something in the water and just rainbow oil. You know what you see, like if there's like oil in the water, just spread throughout the streams in nature. So that fucks the livestock and the wildlife that's out there. Then if it gets in your drinking system, people are experiencing headaches out there. This is it's nasty business. I don't know what's going on. And this hasn't been the only one. There was one in my hometown, train derailment. No chemicals that were released, thank God. There's one in Florida. I believe there's been a bunch on the West and East Coast. It's something weird is going on. I don't know what it is, and they're not talking about it either. The Ohio governor hasn't said shit about it, which is what everybody, Peter Buttigieg, whatever. Yeah, this guy. He's been described as flamboyantly incompetent. He's the transportation secretary for Biden's administration. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah. Mind you, I'm no chemist, but simply looking up what these compounds can do is worrying, wrote one user on the chat app Telegram, an analysis claiming the toxins would have been safer if not burned in the town meeting on Wednesday. There were 2 options. Either we blow it up or it blows up itself. There wasn't a third. Crazy. Anyway, keep an eye on what's going out in the news. You never know what's true and what's not. I don't even know if half of this shit is true, but it's worth talking about. So that's
do your own research, people.
Do your own research. Exactly. This is a portion of research from which you can learn from. Although I don't trust. This is the New York Times. This is what's that one called? Newsweek, and YouTube. Like, come on. You never know. Anyway, that's our track news segment. I talked a shitload there, but I didn't want to get too far into it. I just wanted to read the news. That way you guys are updated. So I know a lot of people don't like to watch the news. I don't like it either. So, but I want to do my own research because I see it on TikTok. You got all these idiots talking about conspiracy theories, how there's going to be a fake alien invasion in the deep state, blah, 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 blah. You don't know what's true. So, well, I think we're going to cover some new head coaching hires on Monday. We got some new episodes for you guys coming up. That was our track news segment. New episode will be on Monday. We're going to have a couple things new on Monday, including the new head coaching hires. The NBA All-Star Weekend is this weekend. All our bets are at a pause. We might even talk some golf.
I almost hit.
You almost hit, bro.
I was one
I know you've
stroke
been waiting
away.
patiently over there. I've been talking for like 10 minutes. I apologize.
I was one stroke away from $500. And the night before that, I was one assist away from another $500. So the value's there. We just need to get on it. We need to get on it right. I was, the first bet I got 5 out of 6. I missed the bet because I put 6.5 over. And got 6. I was like, what?
Close.
I was like very close. Won a little bit of money. I was like, I'm in the mood to bet now. So then I placed a golf bet today, and I got 5 out of 6. And the one I missed, I went over 70.5 strokes, and he got 70.
Yeah.
So in
that
2
close.
days,
somebody finishes tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So in 2 days, I was 0.5 away from winning $1,000. But you know what they say, scared money makes no money. So I'm going to keep betting until I hit big.
You made $80 though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to place another bet tomorrow, and we're going to get it going because I'm going for it all. I'm going to hit one.
Hell yeah. I'm with you. I might toss one in tomorrow for the golf tournament. Look at it tonight.
Yeah,
the analyst is visiting this weekend, so keep an eye out for maybe a live video that may pop up. We may talk in depth about the Cowboys off script. Something for you guys to enjoy, maybe a live video so we can get some live comments and just, talk shop about it. We got a Talk Shop playlist on our YouTube. You guys can check it out. There's only one video up there. Kind of tells you who we are, what we're about. And then we got this will be our playlist on our YouTube channel. It'll be at the Trak podcast. That's TRAK podcast. So keep in mind, maybe an All-Star Weekend, the Genesis Invitational, I believe it's called, for golf, and a new episode starting Monday. We're going to be talking about some new head coaching hires. Appreciate you guys coming out. This has been a fun Track 7. Track 8 dropping Monday. We got The Kid, Hunter Poole on the road, Jared May. Peace, you guys.